Hey everybody, welcome to the Combo Wombo podcast. I am Mr. Gimpy, and as always, next to me is the one, the only, Chipped Monk. How's it going, bro?
It's going fantastic, man. How about yourself?
I am tired, dude. I am tired as hell. That Halo
Were you
beta
up late?
is. So the beta.
Dude, I had zero expectations for you today. Like I got up kind of early, and I was just like, yeah, this guy was playing Halo. So I started like working on like some other projects that I have. Like I started making like a merch store for my YouTube channel.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I was like, how do I do this? So I started looking up that stuff because I was like, there's so many like barriers to monetization on YouTube where I was like, I need to start trying to make money on this thing somehow.
Yeah.
Relying only on like ad revenue is like a fool's errand. It seems like in this day and age. So
It is. I think only the OG YouTubers can really live like that, and even those guys aren't really just living on that. You know, they all have merch. So
yeah,
it's like merch and sponsorships by like Manscaped when you can, shave your balls or whatever for money.
What?
What?
You can't be dropping names, bro. Like you're giving away the sauce for free, bro.
What?
That could become a sponsor, bro.
Just bleep it out.
We're giving away those pubic hairs for free, dude.
Just put the bleep on it, dude. Just when I say that company, just go boop, just cover my mouth. I know you're lazy with editing though, so just leave it in. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Just find someone has the sauce.
I will.
But yeah,
bro,
man.
Halo.
Last night's session was really fun. My internet died like about an hour into the session, which sucked. But when it came back, I was just killing it, dude. I don't know. I think you fell asleep though, right?
For your stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're watching the fights. So I had like your stream going. So I was watching the UFC fights, and then I was watching some of you like play some Halo. I clipped some of your stuff on the VODs.
Yeah, I saw the clips. Appreciate it, dude. There's that ghost thing I'm actually using in a separate thing. So
yeah, I was like, man, this is kind of awesome. And I was like, like you asked before, you're like, hey, would you mind like editing like some stuff for me? I'm like, nah, shit.
No, you don't have to because I'm gonna do it myself. But yeah,
but I was like, I was already watching. I was like, I might as well clip some of this stuff for him. I'm like, I'm here. Like, it would be nice. I'm sure, like you, like I don't know. I was like, why not?
Yeah, for sure. Do you use your clips for it, or do you go through your whole?
I go through the
video?
whole thing.
Oh, okay. I know you get a lot of content out of one though. So
yeah, I have to slice that every part. I gotta use every part of the animal, bro. Every part of the buffalo.
I get that.
So, yeah, dude. There's not much to work with. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna make this one happen. And then usually like I go through it, I find like interesting and fun parts, and it usually works. I feel like I'm still lacking a bit, and I'm not really sure how to overcome that part of editing. So
you're still lacking in what? Gameplay, entertainment during gameplay, or
all of it? Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. But studying like my own VODs and stuff, like I'm realizing that. So I'm doing stuff like practicing like adjectives and adverbs and verbs, dude. And I'm like going through like 3rd and 5th grade because like you never use them. Like,
True.
Like most regular spoken language, like you use like a set like 300 to 400 words, and like especially right now where like I'm not really interfacing with a lot of people day to day, I'm probably using way less of my full vocabulary prowess. Like I found myself like just kind of like swearing and raging like in my games.
Yeah,
and I'm just being lazy.
You need
like,
to level that up, right?
yeah. There's like so many like better insults you could give people. Like if you go beyond just the swear bombs.
Right.
So.
One of my favorite teachers, and I know this quote's been used quite a bit, but they're all like those who swear just have a limited vocabulary, So and that kind of stuck with me in the back of my mind, but I was like, also swearing's fun. So, It's like fun equates to, level of vocabulary. My wife jokes that I'm an encyclopedia because sometimes I'll say something. She's like, the hell are you talking about? I'm like, oh, this means this. She's like, oh, so, and coworkers have said that too. They're like, can you dumb yourself down for
people
us?
have thought I've made up words, dude. They're like, that's not a word. I'm like, no, it is.
Yeah,
like you're onto something when people like start Googling like what you're saying in front of you, and you're like, I don't know if I should be insulted or like take it as a point of pride that I'm right and they're wrong, and they're about to find that out.
It's one of those things where I feel like I read a lot, but I also really enjoy talking, and I did like debate and other things where I have to talk quite a bit, right? So you can tell someone reads a lot when they say big words but they don't know how to pronounce it, right? You can tell someone talks and reads when they use those big words and pronounce it correctly. That's kind of the metric. So me, like in high school, had like a little bit of a debate background, and I got kicked out because, well,
there's too debatable, bro. There's a lot of politics.
There's a behavioral portion of it. It's like no, you can't represent us when you've been suspended 3 times in 2 months. I'm like,
yeah, whatever. That's ridiculous. They want the winner, dude. Call up the kid.
Yeah. Also, there's like a race like thing because like our debate team was mostly Caucasian, so it was like me and 2 other minorities, and I'm like,
I think it was mostly the suspension thing, bro.
It mostly was a suspension thing, but then I
You're like, oh no, it was racism, bro.
I was that kid, Jerry Springer's like,
they gave you 3 strikes.
Y'all racist. No, you racist.
They gave you 3 strikes, bro. They like, you got suspended like 3 times. They're like, yeah, you're out, dude. We gave you a fair warning the first time.
Right,
we gave you a staunch.
I'm that dude on death row who's like, I didn't do nothing though.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, it's Halo's
like Joker, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Halo's been super fun, dude. The big team battle. We encountered a bug yesterday where you couldn't capture a point, so we were just stuck with 2 points captured and 1 not captured, and randomly it starts working again for the other team, and we get fucking stomped after that. I was just like, God damn it!
Exit? I would have just exited the game.
I mean, it's a beta. Who gives a shit? Like, your wins and losses don't matter, Yeah. We got some good stuff. But I appreciate you clipping for me, dude. I got some great stuff out of the last couple sessions. And tonight's my last time streaming it till it comes out. So, it's been consuming my weekend, and I'm sure my wife is annoyed by it. But what's funny, when we got married, we did premarital counseling. Most people will do it, and you get like your wedding.
It's almost required by law now.
Some states, I believe, require it by law. Ours doesn't. But if you do it, the cost of your wedding is less.
Okay,
So we did premarital counseling, and then the guy who did it was like, everyone in every relationship has something that's an unbreakable thing that you have to do, and it comes with you in marriage and stays with you for life. What is something that you have to do no matter what anyone says, right? And one of them was like, what chore do you hate doing so much that you would rather your spouse doing, right? Like for me, I never want to clean the cat box, right? I never owned a cat growing up. I find the litter box disgusting. So I'm like,
that's fair. You're like, I got shit. Literally.
Yeah. And my wife goes, I never want to take out the trash. So, I mean, there will be times where I've cleaned the litter box, and there will be times where she's taken the trash out before, right? But you could probably count it on a hand, right? So I'm usually the one taking out the trash.
Still bitter about it.
Exactly. It's one of those things. But the other thing is, like, the unbreakable thing that you do, I said, there's 2 things. The NBA Finals and a new Halo coming out. So I legitimately said that. It's in writing. So
it is part of the marriage agreement, dude.
Yeah. So she's like, seriously? I was like, yeah, I know myself, and like that's one of them. So, granted, like Halo 4 was poop, Halo 5 was poop. Halo Infinite, it's fun, dude, and I'm loving it. So this is like the first time. Well, the NBA Finals too. There was one point where we were gonna go to a dinner with some friends, but it was like during the finals, and it was a restaurant that didn't have it on TV. I'm like, nah, we're not. I'm not going.
You're like, I'm good.
I'm about.
We can go to a bar, sports bar, and have dinner with our buddies.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing wrong with
I think that was the compromise we made. And I barely interacted with the table. I was just looking at the TV. But that was part of the marriage agreement, right? And my wife had stuff too. So it's not like it's just me being a dick, right? It's 2 things,
Yeah.
And
it's good. It's good that you put that out there too. Like you have that out there, and it's important.
Exactly. But yeah, man, Halo's been taking over my weekends, and unfortunately, I didn't work on my game this week because with Halo, but also with work. It was end of month, so we had a lot of stuff going on, so I didn't really get to work on it this week. next week I'm going to work on it a bit, and I think the next pod that releases should be the one where I'm showing off the game. So I'm excited for that too. Still working on the stealth game. I haven't forgotten. I'm still keeping myself accountable. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What have you been up to, Chip? I feel like we've been talking to each other a lot more than usual, but I think the day-to-day
we hung out.
We hung out, yeah. So, I mean, we got that. We need to hang out again, but for sure.
Honestly, we're kind of like Penn and Teller. We're business associates. Like we don't really hang out outside of work, and our work is our podcast, really.
Right.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I've just mostly been playing Overwatch again. I've been still streaming that for like an hour every day. I've been keeping to that. I'm getting better. Like I said, I gotta get just better overall at the game.
Yeah.
Like in every aspect. And I think like it's another skill set that people also don't realize is like commentary or like while you're playing a game is like it distracts you from the actual game play.
Yeah.
Like I know I could be better if I'm just like not talking to chat and I'm just like focused in on what I'm doing, but I'm like it's not that entertaining to watch somebody who's bad at the game like be slightly less bad at the game. It's like, bro, you gotta just dance, monkey dance, make it entertain the people. So I've been working on that. I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds still. Like I think I'm almost done with it. I've almost kicked my Battlegrounds addiction.
Okay.
I've been
I mean, you're the man who woke up at 3 a.m. and was like, I got to get a quick Battleground in.
Yeah, dude. Like this, it's fun and like you can pick it up and play it quickly. And like, quickly is kind of relative. Like some of those matches go like 15, 20 minutes, dude. Like so, it could be a bit of a grind, dude.
For sure.
So I did that, and then I played some Apex with our buddy.
Yeah, I saw you jump in with Butters. I think that was before I streamed.
Yeah, we're just hanging out. We're vibing. We're playing some Apex ranked, and we're like bronze in that. Like I am on go on a Smurf account. Just having fun doing that. We're just chilling, playing some of that, watching the fights, and
it's good, dude.
It's good. A pretty good week. I've been doing editing. I've been very consistent with my schedule. I just set like an alarm on my phone, and I think we've talked about this a bunch, but. Yeah, that's been incredibly helpful. They call like two types of things. It's like one's motion and the other's action. And like motion is like thinking about like what you have to do, or like writing down your goals, or like kind of like a New Year's resolution. Like I think they've done studies where they're like motion doesn't do shit. Like you need action, and action is like actually doing like any like. If you can get like 1% action, then like your entire life will change. Like if you're doing 1% action towards like a goal,
towards
that
a goal,
set.
Right?
So it's working backwards from that. Like, so yeah, I've been focusing more on that, man. So
hey, man, that's awesome. That's good. Yeah. That's great, dude. So there's one thing. Let's just get to the topic at hand.
Oh yeah.
Here, I think when you brought it up, I was just like, the hell,
Yeah, but I was like, I want to talk to you today about quitting, and you're like, the pod? And you're like, no.
This is like it's going well. What the hell?
Like things are going great. We're number 1 in Costa Rica finally, bro. Like we're finally making headway here.
Exactly. That's right. We are currently the number 1 video game podcast in Costa Rica. So everyone listening from Costa Rica, you guys are fucking awesome. Keep doing it. Thank you.
Crushing it down there, dude. First Costa Rica, then we get another island, bro.
Yeah,
one island at a time.
One island at a time. We, encompass the world. And then we become the number 1 video game podcast in the world. So that's the goal.
No, for me, I wanted to talk about, because like I said, I've been editing and like uploading stuff to YouTube, and I've been making like YouTube shorts and stuff, and they're going pretty good. But I've been asking people, because I'm I go hard. Like I'm very dedicated and committed to things. And I'm a hard worker, so I know I can, and I'm very stubborn as well. So I'm like, when is a good point to quit? Like, when do I know that, like, hey, kid, you don't got it. Like, this isn't, like, your efforts are better spent somewhere else. And so I would ask people, and like everybody says, like, I feel like artistic, creative people and gamblers are like the only 2 people where they're like, maybe the next thing will hit. Like, you don't know. Just keep rolling the dice, bro. Nobody will give you a straight answer, man, about like when you should give up on like a project or like a piece of art that you're doing, or any creative project that you're working on. Everyone's just like, just keep going. Just keep, you don't know.
Can I tell you the double-edged sword?
Yeah.
So one of the things that people say, quit when you're not having fun, right?
Yeah.
When you're doing and this is just mostly a creative endeavor, right? I will use my last game jam as an example. We were just up for days, right? Just coding, doing quick bug testing for this game jam, and I will say during it was not fun. Like
Yep.
looking at a spreadsheet essentially and clicking play, making sure your shit works, and then you're hitting play, and that bug is still present. You didn't fix it, and reiterating. It is not a fun time, especially when you're against the clock. But on the counterpoint, so if I'm not having fun, you know, and we were up for days, but we'd go to sleep, come back and then stay up again trying to fix this to make it work. For like 2-3 days in a row, I was not having fun, right?
Yeah.
However, we persevered and released this, right? Looking back, that is some of the best creative like output, like in terms of quantity, that I've ever done.
Yep.
Like I wasn't having fun there, but looking back, I'm glad I did it. So I think if I took the advice of a lot of people, which I think if you go online or if you read any self-help book or anything else, they will say, if you're not having fun, it's not worth it. I agree, but to a point, because I will say, if you push through the not having fun, if you started this endeavor because you enjoyed it, and then you push through, you will get more out of it than if you quit, and it will always have the question mark above your head going, what if? I personally hate living with that question mark, so my goal is to just keep pushing through. This is why I keep mentioning the stealth game I'm working on. It's why I keep asking you about your own game, Chip. I
Still being worked on. I gotta get it in my schedule.
I personally just hate that question mark, man, and that's what keeps me going. But yeah, go ahead. What's your thoughts on this?
I think you're 100% right. I would say again, like I think having a goal is huge. And I don't know if you've ever seen like the creative cycle where it is like a meme and it's like, oh, I have an idea. I want to create this thing. This thing sucks. I suck. This is the worst thing ever. This is amazing. I can't believe this. This is great. I'm so glad I did it. Like that's like the creative cycle, especially for like artistic people. Cause like, I mean, we've said it before, like it's like pretty well-known thing where it's like the last 10% of the work is equal to like the first 90% of the work.
Yes.
And it's not the fun stuff, right? It's like the little details. It's like tweaking things that like nobody will notice or care about except you for the most part. The other stuff is just completely breaking, So it's like it's not sexy. It's not fun, like for things to break in your game for people to play it. But you have to fix those things especially if you want to, have a finished product that people can get in front of. So yeah, I think it's good to have a goal. It's good to have a time frame as well. It's good. Like you want to create processes that you're doing to achieve that goal, and just being like, oh, I'll get to it, or whatever. Like that's okay, but it doesn't lead to productivity. And I think like the two biggest things that hold every creative person back is like ego and fear. Like you have like there's a lot of it is like you think you're better than what you can currently do, and that's because your vision is bigger than like your artistic ability at the time. And so I think this is what messes up a lot of people and why they say like you don't know when you need to quit, because you're always going to be improving art as an artist. And like art is one of the weird jobs in the world where people will pay you to suck at creating things until you get good at them. So like you have to like almost be bigger than yourself and like have like a bigger vision and be striving for that bigger vision constantly. And like, sometimes like there's just things out of your control that you won't ever get there, where it's like the market's not ready, you don't have the right audience. Like, maybe nobody wants it. Like that's okay. Like nobody wants it now as well. Like who knows, maybe in 100 years, like people want like pictures of Mozart fighting cats in an alleyway. Like they might be huge then, but like not today.
There's something to be said about, and let me ask you this: as yourself, you're an artist, and I mean, we always see your paintings in the background and things.
Yeah.
So it's clear you enjoy doing that. And when I look at your stuff, I'm like, that's very impressive. Every artist that I know and artist that I'm related to, I look at their work and I'm impressed. I'm like, this is amazing. You should put this somewhere. And everyone's like, no, this is trash. This fucking sucks. I suck.
Yeah.
There's something to be said, and I think that. So I'm not an artist at all, but I have released stuff creatively, and the thing that I think that inhibits most artists is that ego plus fear, right?
Yeah.
Like the thing could come out looking amazing for everyone else but you because you look at that one thing that doesn't look right or it didn't come out as you wanted.
I think it's a matter of taste and vision. So my taste and vision are way beyond my current capabilities.
Yeah.
Right. It's what I believe was it magnum opus. I believe is the word I'm looking for. It's like the culmination of like all your body of work to get to like this one
greatest thing you could ever do.
Yeah, your greatest thing you can ever do. So I think all artists have it in their mind like a magnum opus, and every piece of content that they create is striving towards that magnum opus. So they'll never be content with any one thing they do. And that's why people say like it's never done, it's just released. You don't have like don't go for perfection, go for good enough. Like get things done. Like just constantly iterate and improve and keep putting things out. Like I was watching this guy who's breaking down like different big YouTube and Twitch streamers, and like one of them they're talking about was like Dr. Disrespect. The guy was like, look at Dr. Disrespect's character. If you go into his YouTube and like just put all this video, he's been working on that character for 10 years to like get to the point where he is now. And he made like weird short like YouTube videos in that character, and like they were weird. Like they're still weird today,
Yeah.
But he was like,
but he committed.
Well, it's not even just committing, it's trying to find that proper voice, right? Like, so comedians do this all the time where they have like a set of jokes and they go out and they're just constantly testing and iterating like, oh, this, I know there's funny here and I'm going to change things up until I like start hitting with what I know is really funny here. And you do this with everything. Like I'm doing it right now with like my editing where I'm like, oh, I'm not getting to what I want in this, but I hit it here once and I hit it here in this video once. And so I'll go back and I'll watch like those videos and I'll like find that spot and I'm like, dang, it's really good. How did I do that? Like, I don't even know. Right. But I know what I'm trying to do. Like it just kind of like, it's like a happy little accident, but you wouldn't know that unless you were continually putting out content, continuing like putting out pieces. And for some things, it's just way more difficult to iterate that fast. So like painting, that shit took me, 2 weeks to do. It's hard to be like, all right, I spent 2 weeks on this. Time to spend another 2 weeks to figure out how to do this better. Like for like a good piece of digital art, you're spending 40 to 80 hours on it. For my first edits I was doing, I was spending 12 to 16 hours for like a 3 to 5 minute piece of content. That's a huge time commitment. And now I've gotten it down to like 2 to 3 hours, but that's still a lot for like a 2 to 3 minute like little clip that some people maybe will see somewhere. And like the number one comments I get on are like, bro, this is way over edited. Like, what were you thinking? And I'm like, yeah, I enjoy it. This is what I enjoy. And I'm trying to like create something specific here. So you have to do a lot of iteration and a lot of like stabbing in the dark as an artist or like a creative person. And there's no real right or wrong. And it's hard when like you go up to people and you're like, yeah, when should you quit this though? Because even if you have like a great idea, like I said, there might be market factors. Like nobody wants to buy what you're putting out there. There's no audience for it. Like maybe you're putting things in the wrong place. Like I think the analogy I've heard is trying to plant seeds in the Antarctic. Like nothing's going to grow there, bro. It's like a barren wasteland. Like you can put the best creative seeds out there, but like there's no rain, there's no sunshine, there's no fertile soil for your ideas to flourish out there. So I know market timing's huge in like any industry, but like I would say especially the creative endeavors where like you see like some of the people like popping off now like for YouTube or Twitch personalities. It's a lot of it's just like a generational shift. It's been like 5-7 years. Like there's a new group of content creators coming out. And there's like people who grew up consuming like certain types of content. Now they want something different as well. So the market's always changing. Like people's tastes are always evolving. Like we've did the old versus new debate here.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, just because something looks better and like has nicer, flashier graphics doesn't mean it's better, right? So it.
Can we retcon that video so you can get that quote on it?
I'll put that quote on a T-shirt for you. I'll put it on my.
Appreciate it. Like when I come over to your place, I like ring your bell. I want to say that back to me. But yeah, dude, that's really true. That's really true. Now, have you reached the point to know when to quit, or are you ostensibly asking that question at this point? Because
I feel like I'm closing in on a solution here for this, because like I said, I'm very stubborn, and like I will just continue working on something even if like nobody else cares about it, because at the end of the day, like I love it and I'm okay and secure enough in like everything I'm doing where like I can just keep putting out stuff.
Yes.
All that being said, like I kind of go by like the IRS's definition now, which is like if you're not profitable for 2 years in a row, like you do not have a business, you have a hobby. And I think that's important. I think that puts like a timeline, right? First, you want like to create any sort of goal, you need a time frame. So I think if you're starting something, know within 2 years it needs to be profitable by the United States like federal government standards of their Internal Revenue Service. All right, so I think already having that metric is good to know. So you have 2 years of a timeline. For me, I would say like you want to like there's different things, especially like if you're into social media or you're doing something online. I would use like I'm using Social Blade, and I'm thinking in terms of quarters, like business quarters, so 4 months.
Yep.
So I'm looking what Social Blade projects for my YouTube channel in 4 months, and then I'm saying, am I hitting those projections by at least there or 10% over? And if I'm not, then like I've had a bad quarter. And I think if you have like 2 or 3 bad quarters down, you need to consider also hanging it up, because that's not a small amount of time either. It's like a year. Like if you spent a year and like everything you're doing, nobody wants to see it, nobody likes it, and like you're continually like failing, like you're just not barking up the right tree. You need to try something creatively different, or like pivot, or like do something else. And even for that, like I've come up with like a bit of a content rubric, if you will. So I go by like the 80-20 rule, right? So was it like 80% of the productivity is done by like the top 20%?
Yes.
So like whatever the top 20% of my content that's working, that's where I spend the majority of my time making that. And then I spend another 20% just experimenting, just trying out different stuff. And I think when you're first starting out, it should be like almost 40-40, where you're just trying like just crazy different things. Like you're just shotgun blasting like the Doom guy through the door, trying everything and like seeing like if anything hits, like whatever sticks. And like I would say to what I'm doing is like I'm picked a genre, a type, and then I'm hitting like a wide swath there, a gradient, and seeing like what hits in that. Because the way YouTube algorithms work, you need 3 months of a specific like it's whatever you do. Like if you're in gaming, it's like, or if you're people blogs, it's like gaming and then like what game you're playing. Like if you do that for 3 months, you finally get indexed, and then like your videos will start being promoted more. But I'm using like YouTube Shorts, and I'm trying to experiment there, and I'm seeing like what works there. I'm looking at like the analytic charts, and I'm like, when are people tuning out? When are people not watching? And I'm trying to get more of those like aha moments in each of my videos. But all that to say is like for quitting, like when like all that stuff isn't working and it's not working consistently for 4 months in a row, maybe it's me. Maybe it's time to hang it up, bro. Like,
here's the question I want to present to you using Social Blade, things like that. You said the IRS's method of determining if you're a business or not, the 2-year metric, if you're profitable. I think in creative endeavors, like including YouTube, Instagram, things like that, how are you determining profit? Are you saying monetary? Are you saying
Yeah.
follows, subscriptions?
I'm saying
monetary. Okay.
Yeah. And then I would say followers and stuff are good, but I don't know. You're in marketing, you
Yep.
know.
I do,
So
but I'm just saying it for the greater pod.
good.
Yes, yes.
So you want conversions, right? So you want to what you want. Let me see. I wrote this down somewhere. Hold on one second, bro. I got figs, bro. I got charts.
Thinking about this.
I've been thinking about it, bro. Where is this? Yeah, so there's like a sales funnel. So I would say awareness is like your outreach. How many followers or people see your thing for? That's what matters, right? So interest is discovery. That's market penetration. There's like 44 million people trying to do like gaming and stuff on YouTube.
Yes.
Like how much of like if you cut up that slice, I think like most of it's like Fortnite and Minecraft. So like I would look at the biggest people in your space, like, and I've done this for like our podcast as well, where I'm like, we're the biggest video gaming podcast doing on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, they're on average getting between like 5,000 and 10,000 views. Yep. And so I'm like, okay, it's like we're growing, like we're getting closer, but that's like the market cap almost. Like, so you would do this in any business endeavor, right? Yes. So I'm saying like for your artistic business, like you want a business, not like a hobby. And like, so this is where I would branch off to, right? So I would say like the first half of our podcast has been for people who just want to have a hobby and know when to give up. And I would say for them, try to go a little bit beyond like when you don't want to do it and when you can iterate on what you're doing creatively. So just finish things for those people. I would say just finish whatever you're working on, get it out there. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. I would do lessons learned from that and then improve for your next thing. And then don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. For the second half of the people who want to, that's what the rest of this podcast is probably going to be it for. It's like people who want to take something that they're creatively, artistically doing and want to like transition that into a business. Like this is what you should be thinking about. And this is like called a marketing funnel. So there's like awareness. That's how many people see you. Interest is people who've like discovered you. Desire, that's like people who like click through onto your content and like are actively viewing it. Action, they have hit like follow or like, or they've joined you. Then the final thing is delight, loyalty, advocacy, retention, right? This is when you have a fan. This is when somebody is actively telling other people about you and what you do. They're like, oh man, have you seen the combo Wombo? Like we always joke about where I'm like, tell 20,000 of your closest friends about the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like you only need like 1,000 people that are like, have loyalty in like your fan base to grow whatever you're doing exponentially. I think like the concept's called like 1,000 true fans or something, but so I would say when you have like fans, you have like most people want to support you. Like if they like enjoy what you're doing, they would like to see more of it. They would like you to be able to give them more of whatever it is you're doing. Like if it's great memes, YouTube comments, like Twitch streaming, like people get like one of the big memes on Twitch is like the biggest, Twitch streamers. People are like, oh, people are donating hundreds of dollars to millionaires, right? Yeah. To like these biggest streamers. Like, why are you giving money to a millionaire? You idiots. It's like, it's because they're a fan. They want to support them. They want to be like, hey man, I enjoy what you're doing. Have some of my money, bro. Yeah. Like, I would like you to continue to be a millionaire who can just do memes all day.
You enjoy the content. I've never had any problem with people doing that. Truthfully, just I was like, people pay for what they like. That just makes sense to me. But I don't mean to interrupt.
No, like I think that's there's a lot of haters. I think also in the creative field now because again, like they say, like artistic and creative field is like the number one thing that like children want to be now, like when they grow up. So there's like a lot of people, adults who are working like really bad jobs that like they wish they could be doing something creatively, but they're not even taking those first steps of action to be doing it. And again, it's like fear and ego. right? They're not even going to like a hobby stage and then like figuring out like, hey, how can I transition this into some sort of business? So I would say like once you have your base, your 1,000 true fans, that's when you start to try and sell. But for me, I'm like always be selling, right?
Yeah,
So that's why I
yeah.
was looking at like starting a merch store. I was like, you can't get monetization on YouTube until you have like 1,000
I think
follow,
is it
so thousand subscribers, 4,000 watch hours,
yeah.
and anything you get for shorts don't count towards watch time. So if
Yep.
you're making like a bunch of fun viral clips, they have like the YouTube short fund, but like they don't disclose like who they give that to, what the metrics are, what you need to hit. Like they're just like, we're giving up to $10,000 to short creators, huh? And you're like, who? How many people have you given this to? How much money have you given to? What are the metrics you use? And they're like, we don't disclose that. And it's like, is this real, bro? Like, are you just like?
I'm pretty sure the people who get that are also under NDA as well, so they
Yeah.
can't even disclose what they're getting or how they got it, things like that.
Yeah, you just get an email. You get an Illuminati second circle email saying like, "Here's your money. Click this link." Yeah, so I would say like once you're already building your content, right? That's creating the awareness. You want discovery, and I would say if you're tying yourself down to any one platform, especially early on, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Like if you're streaming, you should be using like Restream. You should be doing like multiple platforms, unless you sign like a contract with for exclusivity, like the affiliates or partnership programs or whatever else that they have out there. So I would say like after that, you want desire and evaluation where you're giving something that creates value. And like usually for creative people, it's like entertainment, education, and like I forgot the third one. It's something else. There's a third pillar to that, as all things. I never have to worry about because I'm usually doing like entertainment. Very rarely do I do it. I think our podcast is more education where we discuss things. And so then like action and customer loyalty are like where you want people to hit subscribe, where you, those are they call it calls to action. Like,
Yes.
right. So you're saying like, subscribe, follow, right? So that's when you, if they're already on your video, already watching you, you want to have like a call to action to say like, or create more awareness, right? So you want to bring them to the top of another filter where you say, hey, I'm also on, Twitch. I'm also on, I have a YouTube channel. I have an Instagram where I'm posting dank memes. You want something like that where you're creating other brand awareness or a call to action where you're like, hey, this is sponsored by, look in the links in the description. And then if they're like, want to support you, then they'll like follow those like calls to action and do that thing. So it's really hard to do. Like I think a lot of people are just like, just start streaming and figure it out. Eventually, someday you'll make it somehow. So it's a creative black box where nobody really talks about like
that's the biggest crock of shit.
So just follow your passions, kid.
So I agree with a lot of what you're saying. There's one thing, and I think it's I don't know if I don't want to call it life goal or anything. Where you mentioned that your drive is fiscal, right? At the end of the day, for me, it's less fiscal, and I don't know if it's because, don't get me wrong, anyone would enjoy, being, more to have more fiscal prowess.
I would say then it's a hobby, bro. Like if you're not worried about
definitely,
the
definitely, it probably
right?
is, yeah.
And I'm not, and that's okay. That's okay. Like I'm not trying to like. I'm talking about like all the things, right? Like if you're like, I don't care about fiscal, then you have a hobby, and that's okay. Like that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, because I was thinking like for me, if having followers,
I'm not disparaging people on any side of this. Like I'm saying like you should be thinking about this. And like creating expectations around that, and then knowing when to give up based on how much
on what your goal was, right?
Yeah, on what your goal is. Yes,
gotcha.
yes,
yeah,
sir.
Yeah. Because for me, a lot of it is like Twitch streaming, right? I don't do it because I think I'm going to be a zillionaire, right? I do it because it's fun for me, and people who show up, I enjoy talking to. The end of the day, I enjoy talking. That is it. At the end of the day, I enjoy talking, and I enjoy seeing myself on screen because I'm a narcissist. I'm kidding, but
you have to be a little bit.
Exactly.
Who was that guy who got like canceled? Where he's like, I just think I'm better than everybody else. That's why I stream. He was like some like game thing. He's like, yeah, he's like, low key though, I think I'm like a god and I'm better than everybody else, and
Yeah.
that's why they should follow it. Everyone was like, bro,
Yeah, yeah.
you got some
But
serious problems.
and the people that come back, like I don't have a big community by any means, but the people who come back, I appreciate them, and I feel like I have this rapport with them. There'll be people that come back that I've seen for a good 2 years now, right? Like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
How you doing? And I know they know a little bit about me. I know a little bit about them. I enjoy building that relationship, and they come out to support whatever I'm doing, and it's great. I like I'm more focused on just having people in chat be entertained. I like, and I'm kind of cultivating like a lot of the same type of personalities as well. So when
Yeah.
jokes are hitting, it's hitting for everyone. Like no one's really getting offended and no one's flaming, anyone. There's no toxicity, but just based on the era I grew up in, the generation, like some of the jokes don't really work with the overt PC crowd now. But the
Yeah.
community that I'm slowly cultivating, we all get it,
Yeah.
So that like having a community for me is my goal in Twitch, just a community. Like the subs and
Yeah.
stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love them, they're great, but I never expect them. I just want people to watch me, enjoy what I'm doing while enjoy me having fun and having fun themselves by being along for the ride.
Yeah,
And
I think that's a lot of people who stream on Twitch are that way. We're like, this is a fun, and like even some of the bigger YouTuber and Twitch streamers I've seen like interviewed, they have that like same mindset, where like they're at the top and they're just like, yeah, this is what I enjoy doing. They'll talk. They'll be. I'm specifically talking about like I don't know if you know this guy Devin Nash.
Yeah.
He has like a talent agency and like he'll interview some of them, and they're like, he's like, hey man, how do you want to like, where do you see yourself? Are you trying to build a brand and stuff? And they're like, no, bro, I'm chill doing this. And he's like, bro, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And they're like, I don't care. Like, like I think there's something to be said about like enjoying your hobby and like already being comfortable like financially and stuff, like where like, oh, this is just my side hustle type of thing, where like it's something I enjoy and I enjoy talking with people and doing that. But like I would say like write down those goals, ahead of time, and then like, oh, just be true to yourself. Don't try and like do anything like you're not comfortable with too, especially like like if you start getting to a bigger level and some marketing guy comes to you and they're like, listen, bro, we can 10x your money. And you'd be like, yeah, we could. Like,
Yeah.
and like that's where you see like a lot of bigger people fall off, right? They start like selling out and like people can smell that shit like a mile away. And they're like, bro, you never, that's why, like I said, like I'd try to do that shit from the jump. That way later on, nobody's like, bro,
Nobody's
you have
like,
a
you're a
merch.
shill. Yeah.
Yeah. They'd be like, no, bro, I've been trying to make
I've
money
been a
from
shill
day one.
since day one.
Day one, bro. Yeah.
There's I was gonna say like how I take game dev. At this, that is like, I looked at like my general like life plans, and I've truthfully accomplished most of the things I wanted to do in my life.
Bro, I had the same problem. I was like, that basically won.
Yeah. Like some of my life goals, right, was to do live theater. I've been in plays. The other thing was to do public speaking engagements. I've done that. Like I said, I did debate, but I've also had a gig just speaking in auditoriums, right? The other thing, release a game. I've released 2 on the Game Jam. That's it for me.
Yeah.
Next step, and this is just added on, right? Because I don't think like your life goals can be finite, right? Or you have to keep expanding. Otherwise, why are you living? Life is about experiencing everything.
Dude, I had this exact same moment where I was like I would say create processes and a goal, not a time frame. Because you're going to accomplish everything you ever thought you could do and then more, because your vision was too small. Like I said, like if you're iterating and like creating and like doing better and better on each time you're trying to do something, if you're tweaking your processes along the way, like you're going to get so much further. You're going to do so much more than you ever thought was possible. Like in 5 and 10 years, like our buddy, our mutual friend who fan of the podcast, Heart on the Table, he asked me the other day, he's like, what's your 10-year goal? And I was like, fuck, bro, I don't, like, that's a big question. Like, because like,
it is a big question.
Like you think like 10 years from now, but like my mind immediately like flipped it. I was like, where was I 10 years ago? And I was like, yo, I won. You go like 10 years back and like to now you're like, yeah, I wouldn't have rolled the dice and like saw that pachinko ball like going that way, dude. Like,
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
it's hard to derail you a little bit, but
Yeah, and then the no, you're good. And then the other thing I thought is like why I'm making the stealth game, right? Is all of the games I've made and that have been released out into the wild, have been a collaborative effort with my brother-in-law and a really good friend, Sir Trake. Um, but I and before meeting him and things like that, and then getting these things done and releasing, when I was 10, 11, 12, up to 16, 17, I made things myself. I never released anything, but I kept making things myself just for me. So now my next goal is to make something myself for me, release it, charge a, I'm going to release the stealth game for free. Like, I'm not planning on, and this is just
yeah,
as a personal goal to get something out there that I solely created, right? And then
yeah,
after that, something to monetize, something released for a small budget price point, and keep it going, because it's the thing is, like, I haven't released a game in some time now, but it's not like
yeah,
I will never say that I quit game deving. I just don't have I have it's not my main goal, right? It's a dream that I love, but I'm content doing like my day job, having free time, not stressing over money or I need to have this game out. Because I realized that I'm the type of person that I cannot work in a corporate environment. I
yeah,
just can't. There's no point. When I was a kid, I was like, it would be great to work for Sega, right? Then as I grew up, I realized I hate working in corporate environments. I worked in corporate places before, and it just really wasn't for me. Where I've thrived were these smaller companies. Like, I work for a smaller software company right now in my day job, and I absolutely love it. There's some coding stuff. There's good interaction with people, my coworkers and stuff. It's honestly one of the best jobs I've ever had. And the reason I got into this job is because, one, I was interested in in stuff with computers, but I'm also the type of person who doesn't take shit from people, and I've been fired
yeah,
from big corporate jobs before because I told my supervisor to go fuck themselves. I'm doing it myself, right?
yeah,
So that doesn't work in a corporate environment a lot of the times. It depends on what level you're at. But in a smaller place, I've done the exact same things and got a promotion. I literally told
yeah,
one of my bosses, I was like, fuck that. I'm never doing this. Fuck you. I'm out of here. And I left that day. I came back. They said, Scott, we really thought about it, and we're going to give you a promotion so you can just do that job now. It's like, no.
yeah.
Okay.
And like you said something so tremendously important at like the start of that,
Yes.
and that was like, you will quit projects, but you will never quit being creative. And I think that's so huge, especially like what we're talking about. I'm talking about like quitting projects, not quitting being creative, right? And
Yes.
you also touched on it earlier where you said you don't want to live with like the regret of not doing like a project. So I would say like it's okay. Like I would say like quit projects often, but if you do, just release it anyway and then learn from it. Like, what are people gonna be like? Oh, this isn't done. This is broken. This is busted. Be like, yeah, I know, dude. What can you do? It's
It literally
free
says
too.
unfinished when I release the
Yeah,
ticket.
it says unfinished. Like, you know, I would say like, was it like work in progress, WIP, and then I would
Yeah.
just say like, uh, alpha release, like Bethesda released, and just like, yes, what's busted. Like, what can you do?
It's the
Uh,
H1Z1. It's the day Z of releases. It's like,
yeah,
it's out.
there's like alpha, and then there's DayZ released.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The pre-alpha that's masked as a full game.
Yeah.
The
So,
Daisy.
but yeah, no, like I'm not encouraging anyone to stop being creative. I'm saying like, have a goal and like for a project, and you should have creative goals as well. Like personally, like what you're trying to learn and do. And like, I know so many different like mediums of art as well. Like where like, I always love, creative expression in any form. And I try to appreciate it. So like I know like 3D stuff, 2D. I've been trying to learn programming.
Hmm.
Video editing. Uh, all this stuff, and I'm like, at a certain point, like I almost feel bad not producing more stuff because I know so much. We're
Yeah.
like, I was editing and my one buddy was like, "Oh, let me watch you edit. I bet it's like really interesting." I'm like, "It's not, bro. Like, trust me. Like, it is." Like, and like he like watched me for like 5 minutes. He's like, "You're right, bro. This is not interesting at all."
No, no.
Yeah,
I
like
enjoy
nobody wants.
editing. I think it's fun, personally, but I know it's not fun to watch. That's why
Yeah,
when I was making a game, some people were like, "Hey, dude, can I watch you make the game?" I was like, "Dude, this is not something fun." I was like, "I don't even talk when I'm making a game. It's mostly me staring at a monitor, grumbling to myself. Like, there's nothing here that's entertaining." And there
yeah,
are some people Thomas Bush, I believe, is a YouTuber. I think that's his name. He made Pinstripe. If I got your name wrong, dude, I'm so sorry, but I do subscribe and follow you a lot. He
Yeah.
streams himself making games, but he also commentates during it, like what he's trying to do, things like that. So he's the type of person that it works for. But I think 90% of game creators don't do it because no one wants to see a code for 4-6 hours or whatever.
Yeah, dude, it's you already have to have like an extreme interest in that field. Like if you wanted to know more about editing, it might be beneficial to watch somebody edit. But like again, like the market cap for that's extremely small. Like we talked about where like you'll be into like these weird ass niches and you're like, oh man, this guy must be huge. And then like you look at like the amount of views and you're like, oh, 800 views. Like me and 800 people wanted to know how to make this specific type of transition in DaVinci Resolve or Adobe After Effects, like that was it. But like the guy had really great presentation and like informative, like, hit that knowledge, and it's like an evergreen piece of content. Like people who want to know how to do this in this particular software will always go to this person. Yep. But again, that's like holding your expectations smaller too. Like I think there's only X amount of people who want to know about how to succeed creatively. And bro, I was listening to T-Pain. T-Pain streams now on Twitch.
Yeah, no, T-Pain's great. He's amazing. Great. Yeah.
And he said something where he was like, I was listening to like one of his things. It was like, T-Pain says, and he was like, whatever field you're getting into, you need to know how to take that from an idea to a product. You need to know all the steps in between. And I think that's so important for like any creative person to hear. Like, even if you have like no intention to create a final product or something that you can monetize, you should still know about the process in case some jerk comes up to you and they're like, oh, have you thought about this? I'm like, yeah, I thought about it. It's not what I'm interested in. That's not what we're trying to do. I'm not trying to build a brand. I'm not trying to, create that. I'm like, I just want a community of like people to enjoy what I'm doing. And that's what I'm building. And it's a different mindset, right? Like you're looking for like,
it is.
Like you're doing the top half of a call to action marketing funnel. You want to build awareness, interest. Like you don't care about desire, action, or advocacy and retention, right? Like you don't give a shit about that part. But like those things will come naturally, right? And like that's what every bigger creator will tell you. They'll say focus on your process, focus on getting better, and like money and everything else will come along with that. And I would say just give yourself a timeline for that. Give yourself goals. Have small goals that have processes that you do daily that help you, like, because like goals are kind of weak without action, and right, it's that movement without action. So you want to create action daily, even if it's a little bit. And it's important things I've heard is like think about like 10xing like what you're doing. Like how could I have a 10x return on like whatever creative endeavor I'm doing? What would I have to do to get that? It's how can I turn my 1, 3, and 5 year timeline into a 1 month, 3 month, and 5 month timeline, right? And like when you start like shifting your mindset and thinking about scaling, like one person creating a pot in their attic on a pottery wheel, like you can't really scale that business, right? But maybe you can make like a digital course or class that you can scale and like sell out to more people that might be interested in that, and like be like, this is specifically what I'm doing. But I would also say like I've heard other creative. So I've been doing a lot of research.
Yeah.
So I've heard like other creative people say like there's an artist lady who's talking about like how she started a Patreon, and she was teaching people how to do art, and she noticed that like sales of her art just started plummeting. And she's like, what's going on? I don't understand. Like I'm getting more Patreons, but less people are buying my artwork. And she asked her buddy, and her buddy's like, you positioned yourself as a teacher now, not as a creator. And instead of like, oh, I bought this thing from an artist I really like, they're thinking about this from my teacher. Like this is something cool my teacher did. And it changes like your value proposition in the marketplace. But
that's why people go by aliases. Actually, it's a very true thing. Hideki Naganuma. Let me. We're to the point of wrap up, and I just want to mention this because that's a great thing, and it made me think of this. So Hideki Naganuma made the music for Jet Grind Radio, right? Fantastic stuff. he was known for that. Everyone like that soundtrack was fucking baller. Ollie King as well, which remixed some of the songs and had their own custom music. Great soundtrack. He has his own real voice of mixing, like it's like electro pop, and it's so unique. I love it. If you guys haven't heard, played, or anything, but it's a video game podcast, I'm sure you have. Jet Grind Radio, Jet Set Radio Future. Fucking play them. Listen to the soundtrack. They're amazing. He, worked for Sega. Was contracted by them. Hasn't really done much lately, and wanted to do other things. Right? He has like a band that tours and things like that, but he still wanted to make something digital. So the anime Air Gear came out, and its soundtrack sounded like Jet Grind Radio. The concept for the show. Anime. The concept for the show was basically Jet Grind Radio, right?
Yeah.
It's a fantastic anime, and you look at see who did the music, and it said some other band's name. I don't remember what they called it, but anyway, it wasn't. And people are like, "This sounds just like Hideki Naganuma." 4 or 5 years after the anime ended, it's revealed it was Hideki Naganuma under a different name.
So him the whole time.
So people, gravitated to this, liked the anime stuff, but. And we're like, man, the music's great, and we're a fan of this portion. But, like sometimes you don't have the crossover. Sometimes we were like, oh, this video game dude made this, yeah, I don't care. Or this anime dude made this soundtrack, nah, I don't care. If you're going in a different industry or you're doing the same thing but a different part of the industry, separate yourself, right? That's one of the things that I've seen. Some people can get away with, just using their name or something across all avenues. I think celebrities are very big on this. Like I think Rihanna with her like lingerie line, right? You listen to Rihanna's music, her persona and things like that. You could see her selling lingerie and it makes sense, right? And like makeup and stuff like that. But then some people will come out with something you're like, the fuck? I'll take Soulja Boy as an example. I think Soulja Boy gets marketing, but I think that he does it in a very lazy way now that he's made it big, right? When he first hit big, he was just releasing his shit and renaming files on like LimeWire and stuff from his own song to popular songs at the time, so people were forced to listen to his music, right? Even inadvertently. An amazing marketing strategy. Shady as fuck, but amazing. Then he hits big, that he has his time in the sun, and he's whatever. Shout out to Soulja Boy because I do like his hustle. And then he, releases these video game consoles. Dude, I don't give 3 fucks about a Soulja Boy video game console. And I realize the controversy surrounding it. I won't get into it, but if he would have done this under a different name, he could have reaped the profits, but then be seen as a little more virtuous, right? Than just the Soulja Boy console. So, I mean, it still would have been a huge scam, but he probably would have done better and wouldn't have become a meme lord unless that was his goal. Then, dude, you did it again. You did it again, Soldier.
I've heard like the other mastermind behind this is like the Paul brothers. Like when they do stuff very good like
at marketing, yes,
they think about like how this will be perceived and like what angles they can play off of and stuff. But like as you said, like about putting like your brand in different silos. Like they say this for editing, like in game content and YouTube, because YouTube does not like multi-game YouTubers anymore.
Nope.
So they want you to be in one specific thing. So if you try a different game and it's working out, everyone says just make another channel and just specifically put that type of content in that channel. And like you can rebrand or you can rename. And I don't know, you see this with other Twitch streamers and stuff too, with like Pokimane and
there's exceptions to the rule, obviously, but
no, she also has like lifestyle, she has a blog, she has like Twitch clips, like, and it's like Pokemon clips, Pokemon brand, like lifestyle, Pokemon like blog. So like even like the biggest people are doing this, like where they will silo out like creative content. So think of it as like a grocery store and like an aisle. Keep like an aisle, like if you have just cereals, you want only cereals in that aisle, dude. You don't want to start throwing like
you throw your ground beef next to your frosted flakes.
Yeah, bro, it gets disgusting real quick. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, true. I just got the visual. Yeah, right. For sure. But yeah, dude, that's just a great way to end it on, dude. Shit, that's. Man, I feel like we could talk about that topic for another good hour, but that's our time.
Yep. Yeah, I would say iterate. If you're building business, think about building your business. If you're having a hobby, just enjoy your hobby. Don't let anybody convince you to try and start a business with them. Release, focus on your processes, and take action. Take a lot of incredible action that isn't perfect. Take big, imperfect action steps every day.
There we go. All right, everybody. So this has been the Combo Wombo podcast. For Chipped Monk, I'm Mr. Gimpy. Like, share, subscribe. Share it with 20,000 of your friends. Anything else to add, Chip?
Oh, 20,000 more.
20,000 friends. And if you don't got them, get them. All right, guys.
Peace.